Let's compare MP2 with other investment vehicles. Is it better than mutual funds? Which is better, MP2 or stocks? Hi everyone, this is Charm again from Ready to Adult Philippines, a channel about personal finance, entrepreneurship, and adulting how-tos. Today we will be talking about Pag-IBIG MP2 again, and this time we will be answering your most asked questions. You guys sent in questions through Instagram, through our Facebook group, and here on YouTube, and today we will be answering them. So we have a lot of questions, but before we move on to them, make sure that you guys already saw the previous video where we tackled everything you need to know about the Pag-IBIG MP2, because we also talked about what Pag-IBIG is and what the regular savings is and how they differ from the Modified Pag-IBIG 2 or MP2. So make sure you've seen that video, hit like if you like that video and you appreciate this video, and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's start. Okay, first let's tackle about applying for MP2. A lot of you guys are asking if you can apply as students and OFW. Let's tackle students first. As I mentioned, you can apply as a voluntary member if you're not yet employed. And if you are under 18 years old, you can't apply for MP2 or Pag-IBIG just yet because again, you have to be an active Pag-IBIG member. So for students, you can apply for voluntary member. You can either go to the branch or apply online, and you can pay for the 100 pesos minimum contribution, or you can pay up to 200 pesos. Some of you guys are saying it needs to be at least 200 pesos, but according to the circular, it actually is minimum 100 and 100 more if you have an employer, which you don't. So you only need minimum 100 pesos. Now, if you are an OFW and you don't want to apply online, you can also go to the Philippine Embassy where there is a Pag-IBIG assistance desk there, and you can apply through there. So when should you apply for an MP2? January or any time of the year? You can actually apply at any time of the year, and your fund will start when you started. So for example, I start May 2021. So my fund will start by May 2021 and end by May of 2026. So full 5 years. So next is filling up your desired monthly contribution, and this is entirely up to you as long as it is at least 500 pesos. So for example, you put 1,000 pesos every month and you fail to put 1,000 pesos every month, that's okay because again, this is a voluntary savings and you can put in money anytime. So this is just a self goal for you to put. So again, if you put, let's say 5,000 pesos and you just put 500 pesos, that's still okay. So you don't have to follow this every month. So you can put any figure that you desire or you wish to contribute monthly. That's your monthly goal. Alright, so next is account activation. So a lot of you guys are asking when or how long does it take for you to activate your account. As I mentioned, for me, it didn't take long. It only took 13 hours. So I applied at 12 midnight and I got approved 1 p.m. the next day. So I did a survey on when people got their account activation confirmation through text, and it really varied. Some people said a few days, some people said a few months. I'll put some screenshots here, and there's really no way of telling when it will activate for you. But yeah, virtual Pag-IBIG account is for you to track your MP2 and for you to have easier access to contributing to MP2. So you can actually contribute to MP2 already as long as you have your MP2 number. So when do I know if my virtual Pag-IBIG account is already approved or activated? You will receive a text message like this, and from there you can log in and check if your account already works. Okay, now let's talk about contributions. So can I stop paying for regular savings or P1? Yes, you can, but it's really not advisable. Once you have your MP2 account up and funded, it's gonna be up for 5 years, so you don't have to worry about it closing. But it's recommended that you keep paying for the regular savings or P1 if you can. Okay, next is, does it matter what exact date I contribute, or it can be any time in the month? So something I explained in the previous video that I feel like I didn't explain thoroughly because a lot of you guys got confused is that they use the average accumulated monthly savings. So it doesn't really matter what day in the month you contribute as long as it goes through before the end of the month. So that in contrast to how banks do it, which is average daily balance, where every day they really tally how much is in your account and they divide that for 30 days or 31 days. That's how they get your interest. For this, since it's an annual payout or annual dividend, they only check how much average you have per month in the MP2. So next is, what is the best mode of payment? And there are a lot of modes to pay, like salary deduction, branch or over-the-counter, payment centers, banks, websites, e-wallets, or if you're an OFW, there are also a lot of options. So I'll post everything here. But basically, what we found, of course, is that salary deduction is good because there's no additional charges. Going to a Pag-IBIG branch is also free. If you're looking for the best online payment option, GCash and PayMaya only charges 5 pesos as compared to the 1.75% that the credit cards and debit cards charge. So people have been saying that PayMaya is one of the best options because if you're not familiar with PayMaya, and I mentioned this in my previous video, if you pay through PayMaya, they give you cashbacks or what they call balik bayad. This is 1%, 5%, 10%, or 100%. So if you put in 500 pesos, you get charged 5 pesos and you have to pay 505. But you get 5 pesos balik bayad as well. So parang free na din yung service charge. So I'll put a link to my PayMaya registration code or referral code down below if you guys want to create a PayMaya account. But people in the Ready to Adult group said that PayMaya is one of the best options. And GCash as well, which is also only 5 pesos. I'll put the referral link na lang din down below. Okay, so can I contribute only once? Yes, as I mentioned, you can put in lump sum. Lump sum doesn't really have to be a big amount. If you want to put in 5,000 pesos lang for the entire 5 years, pwede yan. Of course, it's not really recommended because it's good if you keep on putting money because that means the more your money grows as well in the account. Okay, so do I need to contribute the same amount every time or just at least 500 pesos? Just at least 500 pesos. So you don't have to, again, put in 1,000 pesos if you put in your desired amount to contribute is 1,000. You can put in 500 this month, 1,000 next month, 5,000 next month, 650 pesos next month. So it doesn't really matter. You can put in multiple times a month. You can skip months. So very, very flexible yung contributions ng Pag-IBIG MP2. So next is, how much should I contribute? So there's no rule for this again because it's really completely up to you. But for example, you are doing 20% savings or investments. My suggestion, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, so take this with a grain of salt. You can put 10% to stocks, 5% to MP2, and 5% for your emergency fund. That's something I would personally do if I'm still starting out or aggressively saving the 20%. But yeah, it's really again up to you. Just know that the more you put in, the more money and dividends you will earn. Next question is, di ko pa rin gets, why is lump sum bigger than monthly or annual? Okay, so let me explain again about the AAMS or the average accumulated monthly savings and the compounding interest. So the more money you have month to month, meaning your balance in the savings month to month, the bigger your dividends will be. So like in the table I showed last time, if you put in 1,000 pesos every month, that's 1,000. Tapos you add 1,000, so magiging 2,000 na yung balance. Then you add 1,000, 3,000 your balance until the last month, which it becomes 12,000 your balance. So since we're looking for the average monthly savings, we have to add your monthly savings and divide that by 12. So that's the amount that you will then multiply with Pag-IBIG's dividend rate that year. So if you have the full 60,000 pesos from the beginning, that means your average monthly savings is always 60,000 pesos. So 60,000 pesos yung ita-times natin sa dividend rate that year. I hope you guys understand. I linked to a good article also down below so that you guys can read up on that. But to explain compounding interest, for example, 60,000 pesos lump sum one time lang yung linagay natin. So again, 60,000 pesos will earn you 4,200. So next year, yung first month mo is already 64,200. And that's what compounding interest does. So compounding interest basically means your principal or the capital invested plus the interest earned, that's already what the next computation will base it upon. Mas malaki na yung capital or principal mo so that your dividends will also be bigger. So it grows faster over time. So para siyang snowball, if it goes down a hill, it goes faster and faster and faster and faster. That's what compounding interest does. So I hope you guys understood that. But again, I'll link to a good article down below. Next question, are there hidden fees? There are none. So the amount that you see in your virtual Pag-IBIG is already the amount that you will get because there are also no taxes. So next is, when will the 5 years start? Upon making the account or upon the first contribution? It is upon the first contribution. So if you made the account January at hindi ka pa naglagay until May, your account will be activated or will start, the 5 years will start at May. So need ba agad maghulog after making the account? No. May app ba sila para makita if magkano na contribute mo? Yes, they have a web application so you can access it through a browser, and it is the virtual Pag-IBIG account. So this is the link. Okay, so another thing that I want to clarify, government guaranteed. What does that mean? It means that your capital is government guaranteed, but the annual interest rate changes every year. So it's not guaranteed. It's always going to be 7%, 5%, 6%, any. So it will depend on the performance that year, but they do guarantee that MP2 will be earning more than the regular savings. Alright, so that's all the questions for the contributions. Now let's talk about the payout. First question for the payout, annual versus 5 years. I would actually recommend for you guys to leave the money for 5 years. Leave the payouts, dividend payouts for 5 years. Kasi, as I mentioned earlier, the more money you leave there, the faster it will grow. If annual, when can you get the dividends? They announced the dividend rates around first quarter. That's January to March of the next year. So for example, yung 2020 lumabas this year around March, and it will take around 2 to 4 weeks for you to get it in your virtual Pag-IBIG. It will reflect in your virtual Pag-IBIG, and then it depends on your payout. It can go directly to your Pag-IBIG loyalty card, or it can go to your bank account, or you can get it through check. So just check your account from time to time because it will take time. There are many MP2 members. So that's why also I recommend the 5 years. Leave it for 5 years because every year you're really gonna have to wait a while for you to get the payout. So next is the payout options. So like I said, there is the Pag-IBIG loyalty card. You can apply for this. You can pay a minimal amount, parang 125 pesos lang para to get the loyalty card. The money already goes there. Next is you can have it credited to your bank account. This is for government bank accounts like DBP, LBP. I haven't seen any other bank accounts, but comment down below if they already added more banks. Next is you can get it through check, and you can go to the Pag-IBIG branch to claim your check, or you can go to the Philippine Embassy if you're an OFW. So next are the payout requirements. So for the payout requirements, you have to fill up a Provident Benefits claim form, and you have to bring valid IDs. So like I mentioned, it will take around 2 to 4 weeks to process because they have to make sure that you are the person that should be receiving the money from this MP2. So it's really just for our safety as well. But if you have the loyalty card, it's much easier and faster according to people online. So next is the payout period, which is 2 to 4 weeks. And then what if I need my money early? So meaning you need your money or you need to withdraw your money less than 5 years or before the 5-year maturity period. So yes, it is completely allowed for valid reasons, and the valid reasons are these ones again, but it is also allowed for invalid reasons, but there might be penalties. So for the invalid reasons, if you chose the option to compound the interest or you're getting the dividends after 5 years, you can get the dividends but only 50%. So you can get back your entire capital plus 50% of your dividends. But if you chose the annual payout and your reason is invalid, then you get the entire capital but no more dividends. So that's basically it. And that's why I suggested to you guys that only put money with the MP2 that you don't need for the next 5 years. Kasi sayang din the opportunity of it to grow tapos you need to withdraw it. So make sure you have emergency funds on the side then. MP2 can't serve as an emergency fund. I also saw that question. It is really not recommended for you to use it as a emergency fund savings account. Okay, so next is let's compare MP2 with other investment vehicles, because I've been getting a lot of questions. Is it better than mutual funds? Which is better, MP2 or stocks? I made a table, but before we discuss that, I want to remind you guys of the risk appetite or risk level meter that I discussed in this video, and that's basically from conservative to moderately conservative, moderately aggressive, and aggressive. So that's the meter on what I'm going to be discussing right now. So I have included here MP2, high yield savings account, bonds, funds, REITs or real estate investment trusts, stocks, and other speculative investments. So I'm going to be discussing the potential returns, the risk level, the expected income, the fees, and if your capital is guaranteed or not. So let's start with the Pag-IBIG MP2. Potential returns, medium. Risk level, moderately conservative, again because it's 5 years. Expected income varies or it's variable. The fees are none to low. Capital guaranteed, yes, your capital again is guaranteed or government guaranteed. For the high interest savings account or the high yield savings account, these are digital banks or banks that at least gives you 2% annual return. So the potential returns are low. Risk level is conservative because your money is insured. The expected income is fixed because once they promise you an interest rate, that's usually it for a few years unless it's a promo. So the fees are also none to low. I say low because they do charge a minimal withholding tax of 20%. So note the withholding tax of your interest. And then capital guaranteed, yes, again, it is insured. So next are bonds. Your potential return for bonds are also low and they are a conservative risk level. The expected income is also fixed. They promise you a certain amount at a certain date and they mostly deliver on that promise. So for the fees, also none to low. And the capital is guaranteed, yes. Next are funds, and for the funds, your potential returns are medium. Risk level is moderately conservative to moderately aggressive. There are so many types of funds: money market funds, bond funds, index funds, and many more. So it really depends on what fund you're investing in. It ranges from a wide variety of risk levels. Your expected income is also variable. It depends on the performance annually. Your fees are low to medium, so there are gonna be fees associated to funds. And lastly, your capital is not guaranteed. So as you notice, the risks is going a little bit higher now. So next are REITs or real estate investment trusts. Your potential returns are medium. It is a moderately aggressive form of investment. Your expected income income is varied or variable. Again, it depends on the performance of your REIT. As the fees are low to medium, and your capital is also not guaranteed because it fluctuates in price as well. So next are stocks, and the potential returns are high. The risk level is moderately aggressive to aggressive. The expected income varies. The fees are low to medium, and your capital is not guaranteed. So you can also lose money in stocks, similar to funds and REITs. Lastly, speculative investments. I just grouped this because I feel like as a beginner, you shouldn't be focusing too much on speculative investments, especially if you can't handle your emotions just yet, because you might lose money than you gain. Even if I acknowledge there's a high potential of return for speculative investments. And it's also a moderately aggressive to aggressive form of investment. The expected income also varies. The fees can be low to high, and your capital is also not guaranteed. So here is a summary of the table. I'll give you guys time to screenshot it right now. And yeah, I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you still have more questions, then comment them down below. And if you guys have answers, maybe you want to answer the questions down below as well. But I encourage you guys to join our Facebook group, Ready to Adult PH, because there are a lot of helpful people in that group that are very willing to help you guys if I personally can't answer your questions. So what do I think about Pag-IBIG MP2? Again, my final thoughts is that it's a great way to diversify. Do I think it's sustainable for them to keep giving these high of an interest rates like 7-8%? Maybe not necessarily. I can see them giving maybe even 5 or 6% or even 7% from time to time. It's definitely not impossible. But the more money and people who are investing in the MP2 fund, the bigger the fund gets. That means they have a bigger budget to lend out to people. So this money will eventually depend on people paying back their loans, which of course Pag-IBIG is very strict on anyway. So overall, it's really a good investment, but it's not something I would put all my money in. I personally still really like investing in stocks, and I know that you guys have been asking me what my investments are. I promise that video is coming sometime in the next few months. It's just that because of the channel, my investments are all over the place. I have to keep on trying out new investment platforms for you guys. So I'm just trying to sort them out right now. But yeah, definitely if you're interested in Pag-IBIG MP2, check out again their website. And this is not an investment advice, but I personally think Pag-IBIG is a great way to keep a big chunk of your money that you might need in the next 5 years. So that's it for our video for today. And if I answered any of your questions about MP2, then please hit the thumbs up. And if I haven't, then comment them down below. Subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload another video. And again, I know that adulting's already hard, but personal finance doesn't have to be, and that's why I love making these videos for you guys. I'm Charm again from Ready to Adult Philippines, and I will see you on the next video. So it's not